Alright, you guys, welcome back to the channel once more. Kyler Vale, you already know what to do. Thanks for tuning in. Now, a lot of people just assume that when they're a certain age, between the ages of 21 to 25, or whenever they finish up their college degree, post-education, that they're going to live in this nice, lavish, high-rise luxury apartment. But it doesn't always work out that way. Let's check out a few shorts and see how these people really do it.
Day in my life spending 10K monthly in rent for my one-bedroom New York City apartment with daddy's money. I'm totally kidding, by the way. I did not expect so many views on my apartment video, so thank you so much for that. And I wanted to address one of the top questions that I received, which was, how do you afford this?
It's called work. It's called, well, there's a few ways you could afford a type of place like this, especially when you're in the city. New York City, to be exact. You either working in some kind of high-rise corporate organization, or you could do that. Maybe you're a stripper on the side, sugar daddy money, etc., etc. But she just told you what she does, so.
I'll take this as a compliment, but many people seem to think I'm younger than my age, but I'm actually married and I live with my husband in a dual income household.
I'm sensing a little bit of dink energy, so I'm assuming they don't have any kids. That's why they picked a place like this to live. And she has somebody to lean on in case she comes up short on her end. So that's pretty good.
Both of us work in corporate jobs, so of course this helps a lot with our monthly finances. He's not in this video, by the way, because he went to work earlier than me on this day. On top of that, I do content creation on the side, so this also provides additional income. So although it would have been kind of nice to have that generational wealth, we fully support ourselves financially. And if you want to know more details about what I actually do, stay tuned for part 2 and leave any questions.
See, she did it the right way. She's not trying to do everything on her own to prove a point. So kudos to her.
Here's what $1,045 gets you in Fukuoka, Japan. Today's one of those units where I immediately go, I would live here. Today we're in the Yakuin area of Fukuoka City, and we are just 2-minute walk away from the train station. We are on the 9th floor, which is the top floor. This is a very hip and happening area. There's lots of good cafes and restaurants. This unit will cost you the monthly rent of 161,000 yen. No key money fee, but 1 month security deposit. The size of the unit's 46 square meters. It's considered a 1 LDK, 1 living kitchen dining. It includes free internet, and there is a parking space if needed. It's a 2-year rental contract, which is absolutely standard here in Japan.
You hear that? They do 2-year contracts over there. That's interesting. I never even heard of that. Usually it's month to month, 6 months, or a year in the Western world.
On this floor, you only have one neighbor, and this is a concrete building, so you shouldn't have to worry about hearing your neighbors. Japanese apartments tend not to come with any appliances, so that spot you just saw is for the refrigerator. Heading upstairs, we have the bedroom, and today we actually have stairs, not a ladder. Really, this is a great apartment for a single person. To our left, we have a built-in desk. Some people love these, some people hate these. I personally don't mind it at all. Over here, we have this nice window.
It looks kind of IKEA-ish. I'm not gonna lie. But I like the concept though, and you're paying way less than what you'll be spending in a similar place like this in New York.
That you can open all the way. And actually you can open and close the screen too, which is very nice. This is a great little study. You have a built-in shelf, all your books or figures. Recently I got a comment saying that, wow, you talk a lot of trash about Seattle. And I do make my jokes, but I do it because I do love Seattle. My criticism is from a place of love. When I went to school there, boy do I wish there was affordable housing. Did I mention this unit has free internet? I can't remember. We have a little bit of a view, not the most pretty, but you know, it's not the worst. Again, I have to emphasize, like, this is an expensive unit, but because of the vicinity to the train station and how quick it is to get to Hakata Station or Tenjin, it's in a very convenient place. And it's new, and you're on the top floor.
So you could get a new place for half of the cost of what you'll spend in the West, and you get city views and everything. This is perfect for a digital nomad or somebody that's, living off of their content creation. This is good. So if you're going to live solo, this is the way to go. Even if you consider or not consider yourself a passport bro, you still have the ability to live abroad. And this is what a lot of people are doing in their 20s and even late 30s. Like, people are just had it with American cost of living.
These are all factors we have to take in. Very nice bath. We have the typical wet room, deep tub, and window to the outside. Japan's huge on bath culture, and it's just so nice to have fresh air while you're taking a hot bath. Here's a spot for your washer. Now again, Japanese apartments tend not to come with those things, so keep that in mind. Sliding doors. Alright, let's check out the toilet and wrap this up. And of course, we have a lovely fancy bidet. Our controls, and got some spaces over here for storage and washing your hands. Overall, I love this apartment. It is expensive, but would you live here?
It looks worth it though. What's more expensive than Hong Kong, Tokyo, and New York? This is not in Tokyo, so it should be slightly cheaper. Speaking of New York City, what? Just look at how they curved that carpentry right there, the sink and everything. I've never seen that in a mobile home. Usually everything is just pushed to the side, but this is good. Talk about creativity out of the box. That's like the smallest fireplace in history. He's doing it right. He has the Xbox, PC gaming set up. Hydroponic garden to grow vegetables and herbs. Okay. The hell is that? Propane heater? All right. He's living the life on a bus. The only problem with this, it looks like he's in a decent area, but there's a lot of bums. Anytime you live in around the city, especially New York, Chicago, big places like that, there's bums that like to walk around and break car windows. So you would think that he'll have some tint, but I see he has some sunshades. So good for him. All right. What? That's crazy. Get out of here. What about his water pressure though? That's what I want to know. Okay, so this is where I'm confused. There's 270 square feet of space, and their home is larger than most New York City apartments. And my place is over 700 square foot with washer and dryer, full size kitchen, full size 1 bedroom with a hall. 270 square foot of space. This bus is larger than the average New York City apartment. So you're telling me New York City apartments are closets? Yeah, you really do, man. Congrats for you. And he has 2 dogs. Right on, man. Right on.
So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to approve you for the apartment. You're just short of the 3 times the amount of the rent that is required. So I'm sorry about that. I won't be able to approve you. Okay. Just curiosity. Do most people that come here make $7,500 a month? I think most people have multiple income sources. So, they have roommates or their spouse or just other types of income.
Yeah, this definitely sounds like city living. So if the rent's like 4,000 a month, they're gonna want you to make at least 2.5 times that, which the average person is not making that. Barely a doctor is making that. Oh my God.
I don't think that any one person makes the $7,500 in this community. Okay, so it'll be impossible for a single person to get an apartment, is what you're telling me. I don't know that it'll be impossible, but it'll be a little challenging for a single income that's not over 90,000 a year to qualify for an apartment. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. Wait, don't go yet. I might have another option for you. What other option could you possibly have? So I don't know if you've actually ever considered buying, but when I ran your credit for the approval for the apartment, while we couldn't approve it for the apartment, it does look like I'm able to pre-approve you for $350,000 towards a house.
And see, this is where it gets tricky. They're telling you that you can't afford the rent, but they're telling you that you could afford to buy. But let alone buying is more of a liability. You know, it's not a month-to-month contract. Like you can't, it's like if you get tired of the place that you're renting, you could just leave when the lease is up. But when you sign up for a mortgage, it doesn't work like that. You have to go through a whole process of putting the house back on the market. And if you're actually in a community where somebody actually wants to live, then you have a chance to sign over the mortgage to somebody else. Otherwise, you just walk away from it.
Okay. How much would the mortgage be? Just out of curiosity. I would, of course, have to run the numbers and look at your debt to income ratio, but I would say give or take about $2,800 a month. So you won't approve me for a $2,500 rental payment, but you'll pre-approve me for a $350,000 loan on a house that would have a $2,800 mortgage? Please explain to me how that makes sense. I wish I could. It doesn't exactly make sense. I wouldn't know how to explain it to you in a way that wouldn't also confuse me. But what I'm assuming is that because the house itself is collateral, there's really no downside, because if we have to do a foreclosure, we get the house back.
So that's a scam. See, the system benefits from somebody to sign up for a mortgage. So if you renege on your part of the deal, they take the house back. Your credit's bad, lawsuits and everything else. So they came up off of you. Because see, when you're renting a place out, there's no profit or come up other than, you know, the money going back to the landlord.
Yeah, but when people are renting, you can do the eviction process, which is essentially the same as the foreclosure. So you still get your property back for non-payment. So that explanation makes no sense. You're absolutely right. But I wouldn't know how to explain it to you in a way that, again, wouldn't confuse me while I'm trying to explain it. So if you want to get started on the process, we could get you approved in a few days. I'm going to go figure out how this makes sense, but thank you so much for your time. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to approve you for the...
Stupid. It makes no sense at all, you guys, but this is how the system is. They're telling you that you can't afford $4,000 or $5,000 a month apartment, but then they want to put you into a house where the insurance and property taxes go up every year. Okay. Makes perfect sense to me.
There's 4 reasons that this apartment in New York City is incredibly unique, and I'll tell you exactly what they are. Reason number 1 is super simple. This apartment feels like a home. If you watch my videos, you know that the vast majority of apartments in New York City,
It looks like a home with that kitchen. A gourmet kitchen at that. That's like a Hell's Kitchen chef's cook.
have little to no character whatsoever, but this is the exception. It also has an ice maker, which is a huge plus. This is the kind of home that you could actually raise a family in, that you could live in for 10, 20, 30 years and never ever get sick of, and never really grow out of. Which brings us to reason number 2. This is 5 beds, 4 baths, spanning over 4,000 square feet. This apartment is massive. This is bigger than...
So out of that big old apartment, they put an apartment size washer and dryer in there. I have a full size washer and dryer and I live in a 1 bedroom.
most houses in America, and it's in New York City on the Upper West Side. It's incredible. Every room in here is very spacious. You never feel cramped at all. Reason number 3, which I think is so important, this is a pre-war co-op. It's a really well-established co-op, and this apartment was recently renovated, so you're getting the best of both worlds. You're in a pre-war, really reputable co-op, and you get all the modern amenities within the apartment that you would come to expect and that make living your day-to-day life so wonderful. Now, reason number 4 is the price. This is coming in at $4,750,000 to buy. The upkeep's about $6,000 a month. Make sure you use the link in my bio if you're interested. There's 4...
Did I hear that right? That's just crazy. Anyway, that's just a few clips of what, living by yourself brings you. The society nowhere in the world is set up for one person to just do everything on their own, let alone everybody to be on their own. That's what this generation is teaching everybody, just to be independent and not rely on anybody, when really that's not reachable for most people, especially when most people are losing those $200,000-$300,000 a year jobs. People in the tech sector, for instance. So yeah, that's out of reach for most people. Anyway, this is Kai LaVeo. I'll catch you in the next video. Good night.